Emma Raducanu has battled through some career-altering injuries and played in historical matches, but the scariest thing she had to deal with required a restraining order.
Raducanu making no mistake.
Let's start off by taking a look at her grit and determination. Number 14, battled through multiple injuries. Tennis is a delicate game which requires a high level of ankle mobility and conditioning. Raducanu tried her best to play through a left ankle injury, but ultimately had to go under the knife to resolve the issue. But what might be even more important than ankle mobility for a tennis player is their hands. And for Raducanu, even her hands needed to be operated on in May. And not just one hand, both of her hands required a minor procedure as a recurring bone injury limited her ability to practice and play the game that she loves. These surgeries came at a heavy cost as she missed the French Open, Wimbledon, and the US Open. But thankfully, her grit and determination were already recognized by the British government. Number 13, she received an MBE. In 2021, Raducanu shocked the world by winning the US Open. For her trouble, she was rewarded an MBE, which stands for Member of the Most Excellent Order of the British Empire. Sounds pretty fancy. The MBE is rewarded to those with an outstanding achievement or service to the community which has had a long-term significant impact. Raducanu received these honors in November of 2022 from King Charles III. We're sure she was over the moon about it, as it is one of the most prestigious honors a British citizen can receive. Part of the credit might have to go to her idols. Number 12, her childhood heroes. Everyone needs to have people that they look up to and aspire to be like. For Raducanu, the two tennis stars she looked up to were China's Li Na and Romania's Simona Halep. Part of the reason is because she shares the same ancestry as them, but more on that in a little bit. But her love for Li Na and Simona Halep goes beyond just ancestry. She has said that it's their mentality and work ethic that inspired her the most, especially their efforts to win for their respective countries, something Raducanu has tried to replicate for her country. And speaking of countries, let's take a look at her unique upbringing. Number 11, her unique ancestry. Raducanu is actually a citizen of both Canada and Britain. She was born in Toronto, Canada, but when she was 2 years old, her family moved to Bromley, England. But her ancestry reaches further than simply Canada and England. Her father Ian is of Romanian descent, while her mother Ren is Chinese. Raducanu is proud of her mixed heritage as she lists Toronto, London, Bucharest, and Shenyang in her Twitter bio. Number 10, she's multilingual. Naturally, when you have such a diverse upbringing and you travel around the world, you're likely to pick up a few different languages. Of course, her native language is English, but she is also fluent in Romanian and Mandarin. This is because her grandmothers are from Bucharest and northeast China. She picked up these languages in order to connect with her distant family better. It is said that being able to learn multiple languages is a sign of a high IQ, and judging by her school marks, that statement might be true. Number 9, academic ace. Not only is Raducanu a tennis ace, but she's an A+ student as well. Both of her parents are from academic families, so naturally studies were emphasized in the Raducanu household. Her mom and dad both work in finance and enrolled her at Bickley Primary School, followed by Newstead Wood School. And Raducanu made her parents proud by getting A's in mathematics and in economics. She got these marks while practicing and playing in tennis tournaments. I mean, talk about an overachiever. Academics have always been her backup plan in case the tennis career didn't work out, but the way things have been going, it doesn't seem like she'll need that backup plan. Besides, tennis wasn't the only sport she could have gone professional in. Number 8, multi-sport athlete. Raducanu grew up playing multiple sports. Between the ages of 5 and 8, she regularly did motocross and go-karting. She also loved horse riding, golfing, skiing, basketball, and tap dancing. Essentially, she played everything under the sun. Part of her athleticism needs to be credited to this diverse range of sports, and it's easy to see where she got her competitive spirit and work ethic from, as each one of these sports requires a ton of discipline and hard work. She might love tennis most in the world, but there is another sport that comes a close second. Number 7, her love for racing. Raducanu is a bona fide petrol head. In fact, she calls her physio her mechanic. She is also a huge Formula One fan. When she was younger, she would often be the only girl on the go-kart track or doing motocross. That made her feel confident about herself as she felt she was defying the odds by competing with the boys. She said that motocross and go-kart taught her the valuable lesson of being comfortable in one's own skin. This lesson carried on to her tennis career, as she was often the only girl in a squad of boys. At first, she felt intimidated, but with time, she enjoyed that lone wolf mentality. The same mentality also landed her multi-figure endorsement deals. Number 6. Face of multiple brands. It pays well to be great, and Raducanu is definitely getting paid pretty well from the various brands she works with. Ever since her 2021 US Open triumph, Raducanu has become an immensely marketable athlete. She is a brand ambassador for Tiffany & Company, Dior, Evian, British Airways, Vodafone, and Porsche. It is safe to say that she won't be hurting for money anytime soon. And who knows, these lists of elite brands might just be the beginning as she continues to soar in the tennis world. Her US Open win also resulted in a very prestigious honor. Number 5. Won a BBC Sports Personality Award. The BBC Sports Personality Award has been ongoing since 1954. Over the years, some of the best footballers, swimmers, boxers, and cricketers have won this award in England. However, only one female tennis player had ever won the Sports Personality Award until Raducanu came around. The other was Virginia Wade in 1977. With Raducanu's win in 2021, she made history, but it wasn't the first time she etched her name in the history books. Number 4. Historical feats. Over the years, Raducanu has had several historical feats. She is the youngest British woman to make the last 16 of Wimbledon. She is the first British woman to win a Grand Slam title in more than 44 years. She is the first qualifier in the Open era, male or female, to win a Grand Slam title. No qualifier had even gotten to the final of a major before. She's the third lowest ranked woman to win a major in WTA rankings history, and these are just a handful of things that she has accomplished in her young tennis career. So when her fans dub her as the future of women's tennis, they aren't exaggerating. And the way she celebrates all of these historical feats is rather unique. Number 3. Chocolate celebrations. Typically, you see athletes popping champagne and getting drunk after winning big tournaments and matches. But that is the complete opposite of how Raducanu likes to celebrate her wins. Instead of toasting champagne, Raducanu likes to toast her win with frozen yogurt. And it's always the same flavor. Chocolate with more chocolate and some chocolate brownie. Her guilty pleasure is dark chocolate and peanut butter. In fact, she makes sure she has both of these things wherever she goes. She has even stated that she could eat peanut butter with everything. But apart from chocolate, she also likes to celebrate her wins by getting Korean barbecue, which raises the question, has she ever had Korean barbecue with Andy Murray? Number 2. Her unique connection with Andy Murray. Raducanu and tennis superstar Andy Murray have a rather unique connection. Murray's father-in-law is Raducanu's personal trainer. Nigel Sears has been working with Raducanu off and on for the last 3 years, until recently signing on as her trainer. Sears has spoken highly of Raducanu, stating that she has the necessary qualities and hunger to become an all-time great, while Andy Murray has also supported Raducanu through her ups and downs, especially when Raducanu was getting a ton of heat for stepping down from her Wimbledon match after suffering from a panic attack. There is a ton of pressure on athletes to perform, so a panic attack sounds natural. But what isn't natural is having a stalker. Number 1. Scary stalker situation. After winning the US Open, Raducanu's name and image were everywhere. Her publicity and fame grew exponentially, and with the good came some bad as well. Specifically, Raducanu ended up being stalked at her home by a Nepali man named Amrit Magar. Magar, 35 years old, walked over 23 miles to Raducanu's London home. He even burglarized her home, taking her father's shoe as a souvenir. He must have that it belonged to Raducanu. To make the situation even worse, Magar came to the property on 3 separate occasions and left unwanted gifts and cards and stole items on the porch. He even left a bouquet of flowers which included a love note. In the end, Raducanu was able to get a 5-year restraining order against Magar. He was also sentenced to 18 months of community service, including 200 hours of unpaid work and an 8-week curfew between 9 p.m. and 6 a.m.